welcome to Breakfast with Tiffanie. At this point in time, this is just a informal Q&A session where those of you here live with us in the room, we've got a couple of you, those of you on Facebook, and then I've got some questions that have been sent, just kind of a Q&A session to get us started. And so I'll come to you guys in just a minute to say if you have any questions. Before I do that, though, I did get one question from Facebook World. Lewis wanted to know if I'm going to dress up or if I'm going to be in PJs, and PJs, like I got dressed in the PJs, but I am wearing PJs for Breakfast with Tiffanie. After this, I'll go put on normal clothes for the rest of the calls online. But to get started, you know, got to have breakfast. And I made tea, but I totally forgot my tea and left it in the kitchen. I guess we'll see if Rob's watching this or if he's listening in, because he might bring it to me. All right, so for those of you here with us on the Zoom call, if you want to mute yourself unless you're talking, that way we don't have any background noise, we're glad to have you, and we'll open it up to the floor to see, are there any burning questions that you have, whether it's referral marketing, socks, anything like that, that I can help answer to help you with referrals or more? The audience is quiet, they're listening, so I'll start off with one that I've got several online that people have sent to me. So the first question I got was, I thought, really appropriate for what's going on right now with this social distancing thing. And there's a tool we use in Ignite Your Business called the Networking Scorecard. And the goal of the Networking Scorecard is to measure how well we help motivate our network. And so I thought this question was appropriate because it said, what are some things that I can do on the networking scorecard? What are some things that I can do to motivate my referral network as things are happening? And I know a lot of people are kind of like shutting down, like, oh my gosh, nothing's going to happen. Let's go on vacation for a couple of weeks. Not really go on vacation, like let's just stay away from everything. The problem is that eventually, hopefully, this is going to end. It's probably going to be our new norm. And we really want to make sure that we are able to create and we have something good to come out of it when we're done. And so I think working our relationships is going to be really important for us. To me, it's not once this is over and things get back to normal and we ramp up to make it happen. My goal is, however long this lasts, to really work those relationships so that I'm ramped up. And as soon as we're kind of back to like, let's go make things happen, we're able to do that. So on the networking scorecard, again, this tool has helped us measure how well we're motivating our network. I just thought I'd go through and see, here are the things that we can do without necessarily being face-to-face. So at the top of the scorecard, we have send a note card or send a gift. That is something we definitely can do. I just sent out some St. Patrick's Day cards this week. Next week, I don't know what kind of cards. I'm going to go to the store today and see what kind of cool cards. I doubt there's a, hey, a pandemic's going on, hope everything's okay card, but I don't know, maybe a thinking of you or hope all is well. Hopefully I don't have to send any get well soon, because so far at least nobody in my network has gotten the virus. So you can send a card, you can send a gift. Definitely right now you can send somebody an article of interest. I don't know about you, but I'm spending a little bit more time on social media than I typically do. And I think that's okay. It's just what's happening. And so if you happen to be there and you see a good article, it doesn't have to be, just a good article. For example, some friends of ours, we always laugh and joke about Hallmark movies, how all the Hallmark Christmas movies are the same. Do any of y'all watch the Hallmark Christmas movies and it's like, oh, yep, like the same plot, you know what's going to happen each time within like the first 2 minutes. But apparently Hallmark's doing a marathon this weekend for all of their Christmas movies. So I guess we get Christmas in March. But so that was an article I sent to some friends of mine because we always joke about it. So there's plenty of time to send articles and videos. Picking up the phone and actually calling some people saying, how are you doing, can be a really great way to stay in touch. That's our fourth activity on the scorecard. So far, all of these activities on the scorecard we can actually do without having to be face-to-face. So just picking up the phone and saying, how are you doing? I'm finding people are quicker to get back with me lately than they often are because of what's going on in the world. Next on our list, we do have meeting with people one-on-one. And I think this is going to be crucial for us to do, though not in person. I'm using Zoom right now to record this, though I'm also on Facebook Live, so I've got 2 cameras going. This is something new for me. seeing how that works going live, as well as being here on Zoom. And brief pause really quick as I'm going through this, answering this question. Be thinking about a question that you may have that you could want me to answer about any of this stuff. But so I think we can do these one-to-ones on Zoom, on Skype, on FaceTime. I like to be able to see each other. So I'm not a huge fan of the phone for the one-to-ones, but it's an opportunity. Hey, let's Skype, let's get on a Zoom call for 30 minutes. And I do believe, like, I paid for Zoom because I've got some different capabilities that I wanted to upgrade, but I think you can do a Zoom for free and it not cost you anything, and then you can easily go. I've got a couple of the guys nodding saying, yes, you can. Okay, it's good to know. I got some, I've upgraded because I want like the webinars, but I was thinking Zoom, they must be super happy right now. Their business, it's like, because I'm here in Florida, and so sometimes it's like when the hurricanes come through, it's not a good thing, but there are several businesses that thrive. Zoom has got to be killing it here in this instant because so many people are going online. All right, the next thing on the scorecard that I wanted to talk about, we do have the 16 relationship builders, and so there's a whole bunch of them. I'm not going to go into all of them, though I do think testimonials, I think next week would be really cool to do a testimonial challenge. I can't decide if I want to do a testimonial challenge on giving testimonials or receiving testimonials. What do you think? Should I do giving, receiving, both? Should we do a challenge next week?
Yeah.
Right, you like that idea?
Yeah.
What do you think? Giving, receiving, or both?
Both.
Both? Terry, you like both too?
Yeah, I think both would be. It's going to show both sides of the story.
Cool. All right. Well, see, other people are like, what are you doing? It's so slow right now. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got so much going on because I keep doing crazy stuff like, all right, next week we're going to have a testimonial challenge. But I do love the idea of let's do it both ways. Let's work on giving to others as well as getting. And we'll probably, I don't know, we'll come up with some points. I mean, it's kind of like whose line is it anyway? The points are made up. They don't really matter. But we're going to do it for fun. Richard said he likes the idea of givers gain. Yeah, let's give and gain. So doing testimonials is high on my list of things that we can do. And if we're going to be in front of the camera anyway for Zoom calls, why not do some video testimonials for the people in your network? I think they would love that. And then what I do is actually if you load up the videos to YouTube and you do Google how to do this. Anyway, you can put videos up on YouTube and actually it will work on creating captions, and so that you can copy and paste that. You do need to clean it up a little bit, and then you have it written as well as video. So I think that sounds fun. I'm excited. So we can give testimonials is definitely something that we can be doing. Now, on the scorecard, a huge chunk of the scorecard is referrals. Do we have the opportunity to generate referrals at this time? And I get for some businesses, it's slowing down a little bit, maybe a little bit harder to refer. For a lot of people, though, their business is still going or setting up the conversation. So I think some people are like, nothing's going to be happening anymore, and I think there's ways around that. It may be a slower time for some, but we can still be working this, and there's still referral opportunity. A huge one is going to be social media. Using it the right way, though. I think if we can be positive, we can share great content, that can be super, super powerful. So these are just a few. That's certainly not all of the things that we can do on the networking scorecard with the idea of social distancing. However, I think that there's a lot of things that we can do to really be motivating our network, staying in touch, that it doesn't have to be, oh, we're over, we're done. Kelly likes the idea of whoever has the best balance give and receive ratio. Oh, that's interesting. So we'll come up. I'm looking forward to this. We are going to come up with a really cool referral game. And I think at the end, it doesn't matter who wins. I mean, it does because I'm a go-getter and I like to be competitive. It doesn't matter who wins as long as we're all winning. All right, so that kind of wraps up the answer to that question. I'm going to open it up to the floor to see if you guys have any questions that you would like to ask before I move on to my next one that I got online. Like, I'm just chilling. I'm here to hang out and get knowledge. I don't really have a question. Okay. All right. So this question came from Sean. Said, someone asked for a recommendation online for a certain profession. I know and am connected with dozens of that profession. If I recommend one, some of the others will see that, possibly upsetting them. How do I handle the recommendation and not upset all those other people? I think that's a really great question. And I think sometimes we do run into that instance where we know a handful or a dozen of different professionals in the same profession. And we don't necessarily want to annoy them or upset them. So what I typically will recommend is if I see somebody looking for a recommendation online, I love the idea of let me send them a private message. Let me send them a direct message. Or if I know them well, call or text them, because then I can have that conversation without everybody else seeing. Sometimes I might even put in the comments, I have the perfect person for you. Call me or message me, because in that way it's not, I'm not running the risk of annoying somebody or pissing somebody off. Because, and maybe you need more information to even get the appropriate person to refer them to. So really great question on that. Did anybody have any other thoughts on handling that online? Okay. All right. We're a quiet bunch this morning. Like, I haven't had my coffee yet. All right. So the next question. I get referrals from a certain profession, but typically the clients seek them out first. I don't normally have these type of potential contacts me without already hiring a professional. I want to give referrals back, but it's difficult. What are ways I can support my referral partners without giving them a direct referral? Hey, Lonnie, we're getting some light coming in from, it looks like you're driving. You want to turn your camera off for us if you don't mind? All right, cool. So I think there's a couple of different ways that we can go about this. When we've got people that are referring us, we want to keep them happy. However, it can be hard. I often think of the example of the realtor and the mortgage broker. Most of the time, by the time the client comes to the mortgage broker, they already have a realtor. Though I know that's kind of changed in the past few years with people getting pre-approved. But at least used to is like the realtor, you know, they get the people and then they're referring them to the home inspector, to the mortgage broker. And so it's a little bit harder. And so to me, sometimes it's about, we want to get a good return on our investment. So maybe instead of introducing them to the prospect that they're looking for, here's an opportunity. Hi, puppy dogs. Here's an opportunity to introduce them to one of their contact sphere relationships. Contact sphere relationships are those non-competing industries with the same target market. And so maybe we have that opportunity, instead of passing them a single referral, we can introduce them to someone that can pass referrals all day, every day. And I often think this is even more powerful than the single prospect. We like to say, you know, you give the man a fish, he eats today. You teach the man to fish, he eats for life. To me, you give me the referral to the prospect, then I have business today. You give me a referral to the referral source, then I have referrals for life. I've got that steady flow of referrals. And so I think it's awesome to be able to, oh, look, somebody's joining us.
That's my wife.
My
happy life.
So sometimes I think that referral source can be awesome. And then back to the networking scorecard, there's all kinds of things on here that you can do to motivate your network. I definitely think it doesn't have to be just, hey, give me a referral, give me a referral. Though sometimes it is easier. People think that's all you can do to grow your business. And that's why we talk a lot in this incentive about that third core competency, getting your team trained by the experts, because then they realize that there's so many more things that we can be doing out there in addition to just get me the referral. Any questions out there that you guys are thinking of as we're going through this, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on Zoom? Happy to hear them. All right, so Kelly has a great question. So in LinkedIn, a connection may ask me to share their post to my circle. How would you handle it when you don't want to reshare, but you want to preserve the relationship? Okay, so that could be kind of a really tricky thing. When somebody says, hey, would you share my post? Hey, would you do this for me? There could be the whole like, oh, you asked me to share that? I so didn't see it. Oops. That's not a really nice thing to do. But sometimes people can do that. Oh, that was supposed to be funny. That's the problem with this is being online versus in person. Because if you were in person, you might laugh more. Okay. Anyway, so that can be tricky. What I might do is have a conversation with the person, and I think it depends on how well you know them, and ask them, okay, why do you want me to reshare this? And maybe why is it, I'm going to look back at the question to make sure I've got, may ask me to share their post to my circle. How would you handle it when you don't want to reshare but want to preserve the pajama? Oh, sorry, Jeremy just put in what's up with pajamas. Hey, Jeremy. I know, nice pajamas, right? But we want to preserve the relationship. So I might, if we're really looking to preserve the relationship, I might ask them, I might let them know my hesitancy, because it depends on, if you don't want to reshare it because you don't like the content, it could be something. I've had somebody that asked me, hey, could you share this post? And I'm like, you're cursing a lot in this post, and that's just not something that I share with my network in public. And so that was one way that I handled it. It could be that you think about, okay, who is it you're really wanting to reach with this? Because perhaps instead of just sharing their post, you went back to them and said, who are you trying to reach with this? Then you could maybe say, okay, I will send this directly to XYZ. And instead of it being like, let me share it to all, would you feel comfortable sharing it to a few people? Anything else, like anything specific, Kelly, on why it is that you don't want to? Oh, look, Rob just brought me my tea. You want to say hi, Rob? He said no. I guess it's not annoying questions with Rob, which hopefully we'll be doing a little bit later. So he doesn't have to get on camera. Kelly, if you're still there, anything? Okay, Kelly liked the idea. Yeah, I mean, it certainly depends on how much. And if you're not posting a lot anyway, then it's easy to say that's not something I do. It just depends on the content. Cool. Other questions from Facebook or from Zoom? Oh, it's targeted to women. Gotcha. While you're thinking of your questions, typing them in, or gonna unmute yourself on Zoom. Don't you like my coffee cup? Oh, it's not coffee, it's tea. So it's medical grade glassware that has caffeine when I'm drinking my caffeine-free tea.
I like it.
Like, it's a little nerdy, it's a little fun.
I like nerdy.
I was like all excited, I got all ready, and then I realized like the first minute or so in that I forgot my tea. All right, so keep thinking, because I only have one question left here that was sent in ahead of time, so if you can think of one. For those of you here on Zoom, you can put it in the chat box. For those of you on live, if you want to put it in the comments. But so my next question, how can new BNI members really get on the radar of those amazing and successful BNI members, especially when those people already know a bunch of folks? And so I want to take this a little bit wider, because this could be for BNI members, but I know not everybody here is a BNI member. So this could be for BNI members, this could be for chamber members, this could be for people at companies or organizations. So to me, this question goes beyond just the realm of BNI into all scopes. Because if you've got that person and they're super influential in whatever group you're in, like, how do you get their attention? And I think it definitely goes back to giver's gain. If you've got somebody that you really want their interest, you really want them to be a part of your network, you're going to have to think, what can I give to them? What can I do for them? I was talking to a client the other day, and she was asking me, hey, there's this person that's very influential in the field, and I want her to mentor me. I'm like, ooh, that sounds super cool. How well do you know her? Oh, I don't. I'm like, it's hard for people to, and it's not that we don't want to give. We're just so limited on our time, right? We don't have a ton of extra time to be able to do a lot of stuff, that we have to be selective with what we're doing. And so I was kind of like, okay, you got to find out, like, what makes you worthwhile to them? And so if you think about it, what can you give to them? Whether it's, hey, let me volunteer to work on this project with you, whether it's inside the group or maybe a charity that they like, hang out where they hang out. Begin to think about, okay, how in the world can I get this conversation? How can I get on their radar and give and give and give? And especially if they're influential, like this says, especially people already knowing thousands of people. The more you can get in their realm, in their world, and support them first, the more likely they are to want to let you in and hopefully give back to you. Giver's gain, and today apparently is all about the networking scorecard. So again, what of those activities can you do on the scorecard? And if you want, one of the things also, I think if you want to get on the radar of people that it's a little bit harder, this I think is where the referral to come in can be super powerful. And one of the things I love to do is going on LinkedIn and looking at the person that I'm looking to connect with and seeing who in my network knows them and coming up with a plan. It's not, oh, I see, 5 people, or sorry, like my prospect, and I'm like thinking of the prospect's name, and I'm gonna go with Stephen King because these are some of my Stephen King books back here. So I was just thinking of Stephen King when I was coming up with the name. Let's say I wanted to get Stephen King. I go on to Facebook and LinkedIn. I go on to LinkedIn and I see, okay, who on LinkedIn that I know knows him? And then I'm not going to say, oh, there's 5 people that I know that know him. Y'all need to all call him tomorrow and talk about me. But it's more about coming up with a plan. Oh, you're going to talk to him next week. Could you drop my name and say this about me? Oh, you're going to talk to him next month. Could you drop my name and, mention this about me? And so it becomes a more drip campaign to where he's hearing about me from other folks. And so they're lending me their credibility to help begin that conversation or continue it on. So are there some good ideas for working in those relationships? No, sometimes though we can't get in. Not everybody wants to be in a relationship with you. I know that's horrible. And if I was live, that I would probably now make a joke about, yeah, some of you are still single, but haha, just kidding. All right, I think I saw one coming through on Facebook. Oh, hey, Sean, I just see you jumped on. I just answered 2 of your questions from a little while ago. Oh, swipe left to reveal comments. Oh, there we go. Jeremy. So Jeremy said, do a course for BNI members about using Facebook. I need like some questions. Like, I don't even know where to take that other than stop name calling. I think that's probably a good rule when it comes to online networking at all. Try not to give in to the hype. Oh, so I just got sent, okay, this isn't a question, but I figured y'all might want to hear. This is a haiku that was sent to me that they thought would be appropriate for Breakfast with Tiffany. Ass white is like gold. My kingdom for some Charmin. I'll trade you for beer. Just, something nobody else had a question going on. That was the last thing I've got. So I'll give us another 30 seconds or so. If you have any other questions, to put those in the chat box or to put them in the comment section. We will be doing another Breakfast with Tiffany, I think, in a week and a half. It'll be Monday morning. Somebody was like, are you always going to have these in the morning? And I'm like, it's Breakfast with Tiffany. I mean, that even the dog thinks it's funny. And I forgot my Tiffany, I forgot the dog. Usually I have my dog in my lap when I do these.
Sorry.
Nope, you're all right. So here's the thing. So that's all the questions you guys had for me and that were sent in. Good morning, Matt. We will be back here in a couple weeks, so I will let you know we do have a virtual Brewing Up Business coming up on Tuesday. So 3 o'clock we'll be here in our Zoom in front of our computer. Whether your brew is tea or kombucha or coffee or beer or liquor, wine isn't brewed, but you could have your wine too. It's totally fine. If you want to join us, what we'll be doing for Brewing Up Business is it's just going to be a round robin introduction. And so everybody will get the opportunity to spend about a minute or so to introduce themselves and say hi. That will be happening on Zoom, and I'll send out a link for that at some point in time today. But that looks like all the questions that you guys had. Thank you so much for joining me for Breakfast with Tiffany. Hope you had fun. Hope you got some good tips. And I would love to hear from you what you do with something from today, especially if it creates some results for you. All right. Thanks, you guys. Have fun. Bye.
See you at noon.
See you at noon.